On this episode of Mapping It, join us as we road trip around northern Norway. We start our journey in Andenes in the VESTERALEN region, where we go on our first whale safari. Then we make the long journey to the North Cape with many stops along the way. At NORDKAPP, we chase the midnight sun and experience the most epic sunset at the northernmost point of continental Europe. Our road trip ends in Tromsø with a walk around the charming city and beautiful mountain views. We cover a lot of ground and pack so much into our 4-day road trip around northern Norway. We're having a blast and we're taking you along for the ride. Let's go. Good morning from Andenes in the VESTERALEN region. We have a very exciting day ahead of us with also a bit of driving. But first, we are going to take a whale safari.
On a rib boat.
On a rib boat. It should be pretty cold. Hopefully we see some whales, but there's no guarantee. So let's go.
The bones you have here are the lower jaw of a sperm whale. That's all this part. They're usually 12 to 14 meters here, but the biggest that have been recorded were in the whaling days, and they could reach up to 20 meters. These guys, they're deep underwater animals. They can be hunting for fish and prey 100, 200 meters deep, but they can also go almost 2 kilometers deep. You know that 20, 25 meters, you cannot see anything anymore. So what they do, here in the forehead, which is a third of the body, they have an organ that makes the loudest sound on Earth, biological sound on Earth. So it's 235 decibels. A landing airplane is 170. So it's 60 decibels more. Now this sound only goes out straight in the front. All the other whales, it goes around. But then, because it's reflected on the skull, at the back of the skull, it only goes towards the front. So this sound makes it very easy for us. You see this device? We can track them down because we know where the sound is coming from. So we put the hydrophone in the water and then we get the heading. And with experience, we know more or less the distance between the whale and the boat. It makes it very easy for us to track them while they're underwater. Lately, they've been acting very strangely because we have no explanation for it. The fishing season for the Greenland halibut, you all know the big flat fish that's very tasty. They go after it, but where the fishing boats are, because they don't bother hunting it in the water, they go on the fishing lines and the gill nets that the fishermen lay. They don't bother getting it themselves, they just steal from the fishermen. There's this, and we think there's also a very fast prey that they're going after. Most likely squid, that's below 200, 400 meters deep. And that's why they're moving very erratically. So that changes all their behavior and makes it very difficult for us to find them easily.
Sounds like the whales are acting strange.
It could take quite a while to find one, and we may not even find one. Andenes is supposed to be a fantastic spot for whale watching and birding. We originally chose to go on a sunset whale safari, but it was postponed due to bad weather conditions, so we rescheduled to a morning excursion. It was a lot of fun to get decked out in gear and take the rib boat out to sea, but it was also very cold and very wet.
Well, we just finished our whale watching tour. Unfortunately, we didn't see any whales. It's about what I expected. Now we got to get our suits off and then we'll figure out what we're doing next.
We just just finished up our whale safari. You're in this rib boat, which is a rigid inflatable boat, and the seats are really interesting. You kind of straddle them, and then you have this handlebar in front of you, and the seat kind of bounces along with the waves, so it absorbs some of the shock. Be sure to bring gloves, because you are going to be bombarded with Arctic water and
wind.
And tons and tons of wind. Your hands are going to be freezing. I was getting hit by waves like easily once a minute. And it's just a constant big splash in the face. So be prepared to get wet.
Unfortunately, we didn't see any whales today.
Yeah, it was a bit of a bummer. They kind of warned us in advance, but the whales have been unpredictable the past week or two. And so they don't really know where the whales are going to be. It's kind of hit or miss.
Yeah.
They have this device they put in the water to try and hear the whales, and they can hear it from up to 5 nautical miles.
Yeah, something like that.
Like a very long ways away.
We checked like 3 spots and they didn't see them anywhere, so.
It was a little disappointing.
Yeah.
But overall, still a fun experience.
You really have to accept the risk that you're not going to see anything and be okay with it.
That's true.
And that's kind of hard to do sometimes based on the cost. I would do it again. But yeah, you definitely have to consider the cost versus the possibility of not actually seeing what you want to see.
So we had a very brief time in Andenes, but it's a great place to come. I would love to explore further. But let's get on the road.
Yeah.
Yeah. We took a scenic drive through the Andenes region, and it was beautiful.
Now we've got a bit of a long drive to our next hotel in Senja.
A bit of driving is putting it mildly. We had about a 6-hour drive ahead of us. Luckily, it was incredibly scenic. We originally planned to get to Senja much earlier in the day and go hiking, but because we had to reschedule the whale safari for the morning, we couldn't fit it in. But now we have a reason to go back in the future. The next day was another long day of driving as we headed from Senja to Alta, but we had a lot of fun stops along the way.
What are you up to?
Nothing!
Gosh!
Got you. Snowball fight in June, what do you think?
That's pretty weird.
We are near Heia in northern Norway. It is early June and we are around like 234-ish meters above sea level, I think. So we're in the mountainous area and this lake is beautiful and still has some ice and snow on it. So still a little cool in the air, but because the sun is just so intense right now, I feel like pretty warm actually. I don't need this. But this is a great area as a little pit stop on our road trip to Alta.
This is a spectacular view.
Look at you with your Norwegian sweater.
Well, it fits.
You mean it fits the landscape?
Fits the landscape.
Yeah, this is a fantastic view for a roadside.
Yeah.
Look at that. In Heia, we stopped by the SAMI shop, which turned out to be a huge souvenir shop inside a traditional SAMI LAVVU or tent. The Sami are indigenous people in northern Scandinavia and traditionally have a nomadic lifestyle herding reindeer. The LAVVU was filled with a huge variety of souvenirs, including knitted wear, reindeer pelts, knickknacks, and food. Hi.
Hi, what'd you do?
Bought a lot of things from the SAMI shop in Heia in northern Norway. This shop is really cool. It's a great pit stop. They have bathrooms, they have food, they have a warm raging fire in there. You can try reindeer if you want to. This is probably the best souvenir shop that we've seen so far in Norway. The one thing they didn't have is postcards. It's around lunchtime on our road trip in northern Norway, and eating out can be pretty expensive. Even just stopping for a sandwich at a little cafe can run you like 20 bucks, which is expensive just for a sandwich. So in order to try and save money, we've been going to grocery stores and getting our picnic lunches there. And we've got quite a selection in front of us. We have sulu, we have some tasty desserts. Not that we're gonna eat everything here because it's a lot of food. We have 2 different kinds of chips, including cheese doodles, which just sounds so fun. And we each got a burrito that we were able to heat because the grocery store has a microwave. And then there's these beautiful picnic tables and this wonderful view, and all of it came to around $20. So I'd say that's a pretty good deal. Otherwise, we would have paid the same price for just a sandwich. So I think we got a good amount. It's gonna be a good lunch. I got I think it's a pulled pork burrito. Whew. Wow, that's really good. Very fragrant. It's a bit spicy. The pork is really juicy and good. There's like a kale salad in there too.
It's like we got a real West Side Story situation going on here. These birds are not happy about this seagull encroaching on their territory. You tell them.
After our picnic lunch, we got back on the road. Well, today has turned out to be an absolutely gorgeous day. We are currently on the road on the way to Alta, and we are driving along Lyngen Fjord. And this fjord is absolutely magical. It's got so many pull-offs and just incredible mountain views. This has been a beautiful day and a stunning drive.
Best weather day so far.
Another fun thing that we're realizing right now is that we are very far north. So far north and so close to the Finnish and Swedish borders that the signs here, like the place names, have them written in Norwegian, Swedish, and Finnish.
The trees will bloom and ice will melt. We'll always remember how it felt.
We made it to the top of a mountain
Yeah, we're at the top of Kvarnangsfjellet.
at 401 meters above sea level, and we're gonna go check out this view. Might be pretty good. I'd say this was worth the stop.
Oh yeah.
This view is absolutely incredible. If you come up on the top of a mountain, something you might notice is these like wooden fence things. They're generally used to hold the snow and prevent avalanches. Right here, they're used to protect the road and prevent snow from going on the road. Snow plows still have to come through, but it helps prevent an avalanche.
That's good.
Yeah. Still heading to Alta. It's a long drive.
Got at least an hour and a half left, I think.
Yeah, we have. It's been nice to break it up though, with a lot of stops along the way.
Yeah, some nice views.
Yes.
We're gonna get back on the road.
Yeah.
Just what it was needed. Clean in the blackest night.
We're on the hunt for some reindeer. I think you got a good chance of seeing some here.
We pulled over on the side of the road at a pull-off, and we are on an official hiking trail. Maybe it'll bring us closer to some reindeer.
What do you see?
I see reindeer. It's pretty cool. They're a little too far away to like actually get a decent view of them, but we see reindeer. I don't know if you can see it over there, but there's 4 of them. They're white in that landscape there.
The trees will bloom and ice will melt. We'll always remember how it felt.
Well, we did get to see some reindeer. That was pretty cool. We took a little bit of a hike just to get a little bit closer. Not very close though. We were still pretty far away. But now we're back on the road, heading to Alta.
We finally made it to Alta. It was a fantastic road trip.
Yeah, a lot of good views.
Behind us is Alta Church, and its design was inspired by the northern lights. It's kind of swirly and flowy like the
Wavy.
lights. Wavy. Very cool.
And it reflects the sun really well.
It probably also reflects the northern lights pretty well too.
Yeah.
It is like around 11:30 right now, and as you can see, we have beautiful golden hour here.
Yeah.
Good morning, friends.
We have a very exciting day ahead of us.
Yeah, we're gonna go head up to the very northern tip of Norway, and we're going to go on a bird safari, and then we're also going to see the Nordkapp, or the North Cape. We started our day with a scenic drive from Alta to Magerøya. This island is just off the coast of mainland Norway and connected by an underwater tunnel. The island has tons of wildlife, and it can be fun to try to spot different animals along the way. On our drive, we saw so many reindeer, birds, whales, and even some playful otters. Be sure to make time in your schedule to stop and enjoy the views. Magerøya is a small island with steep coastline and sparse vegetation, but the western part of the island is a little different. Gjesvær is a small town on the western coast, and instead of steep cliffs, there are gently sloping hills. The coast is protected by surrounding islands, and it's known as being home to one of Norway's largest bird colonies with hundreds of thousands of birds. Well, we made it to Gjesvær. We decided last minute that we were coming here, and we have bought tickets to Ola's bird safari. There should be many birds. We're gonna get on a boat and hop over to a couple islands, and we should be able to see some birds. Should be pretty good.
Let's go check it out.
Yeah.
It's not a super large boat, but it'll work.
And we're off. Well, we already saw our first bird and we barely left the harbor, so hopefully that's a good sign and a trend that keeps going. There was plenty of room to spread out on the boat, but most people gathered on the right side for the best views. The captain and staff spoke several languages and talked about the different birds we were seeing, so we learned quite a bit on this trip.
Black and white birds are the razorbill. There's a lot of birds.
There's a lot of birds. What do you think?
I think there's a lot of birds in the water in the distance. There's definitely more birds than I've seen at one place.
Wow, just look at all of them.
There's an eagle in the distance.
On the right hand side you can see a seal.
So cute.
French, they are called
Gannet colony.
Puffins nest in cliffs, and they build their nests in these tunnels that are about 1 to 2 meters long where they lay their eggs. It's pretty crazy. Didn't know that birds could make tunnels.
Yeah, didn't know they could dig.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
This rock looks like a face. You can see the nose sticking out to the left. People call it the witch. We're just finishing up the tour, heading back to the pier. Saw a lot of cool birds, had some nice weather. I think it was a good time.
Yeah, apparently we saw every possible thing we could have seen, which is amazing. We saw puffins and seagulls and eagles and kittiwakes and razorbills and guillemots and just a bunch of other things. We also saw some seals that were lounging on some rocks, sunning themselves, which was pretty cool. I'd say this tour was highly worth it. Well, for a last-minute trip and a last-minute decision to go on this bird safari, I'd say we made a fantastic choice.
Oh yeah.
The price was very reasonable, considering that we're out there for about an hour and a half. So this bird safari takes a boat out to a nature preserve just offshore. And we go around the entire preserve, which is just a series of islands. We went clockwise around the islands. If you're on the right side, you have a closer view than if you stand on the left. And we see a ton of birds. It's just incredible.
Yeah.
There are no words.
Yeah, and I think the only thing that could have improved the experience was maybe to bring some binoculars.
Yes, which is ironic because we actually have binoculars and we bought them specifically for the trip.
But this was so spur of the moment that we didn't remember to bring them.
Yeah. Overall, what a wonderful experience, I'd say.
Well, we're back in the car and now we're heading to the North Cape. The landscape is so unlike anything we've seen so far in Norway. It's very barren, there's no trees or other vegetation. It's just very moon-like.
We made it to the North Cape in northern Norway, the northernmost point that you can drive to on continental Europe. Woo! There's a little bit of dispute because there are other areas that also claim to be the northernmost point in continental Europe, but this is the one that we are at.
So it's the best. So let's go explore.
Yeah, it should be cool.
There is a point to the left of Nordkapp that is about a mile further north, but you have to hike there and it was never a point of reference for sailors. However, it does have great views of Nordkapp, so it could be worth it to check out if you have time. People have lived in this area for thousands of years, but it wasn't known to the outside world until 1553, when a British expedition was searching for a northeast passage to Asia. They encountered this remarkable promontory and gave it the name North Cape. It was added to sea charts and world maps, and sailors across the world knew about it. North Cape is a cliff that's 307 meters tall and plunges into the icy water below.
If all you want to do is come to the North Cape and see the edge and the cool globe statue, you can park for free and walk around the building, and on the back side of the building is the Cape, and you can access it for free and you don't need to pay a thing. If you want access to toilets, the cafe, the gift shop, the post office, or any of the exhibits that they have, you have to pay the fee to enter, and then you'll get a nice little sticker like we have, and the sticker will grant you access for 24 hours. Behind me is the Children of the World Monument. 7 children from countries around the world, including the United States, all joined together at the North Cape, spent a week here, and did some drawings representing peace and hope. And those drawings were turned into the monument you see behind me in 1989. Let's go into the Welcome Center.
The Welcome Center has a lot of amenities, including a massive gift shop that we had to check out.
What are you doing?
Trying out a yaka.
Weren't you just the person that said, who comes to a gift shop and buys things that are not related?
Related.
What did you do?
In an unlikely scenario, I spent more money than Karin at the gift shop.
Look at that. You bought a jacket.
Yeah.
After dropping things off at our car, we went back to the Welcome Center to explore and learn some history about the North Cape.
The first tourist to the North Cape was Francesco Negri from Ravenna, Italy, in 1664. That's kind of crazy.
That's pretty early on.
That's so early. I was not expecting that. On one of the lower levels is an exhibit of the history, which is pretty cool to see. And they have some photos from long ago when the King of Norway visited. And this is really interesting. I believe the ships would come into the water, and then everyone would have to climb to the top. And then they'd go see the end of the world, basically.
Traveling to the North Cape is such a big deal that some people celebrate by having champagne. They even have a special champagne area for you to drink your champagne. The tradition of having champagne toast goes all the way back into the 1800s.
The Visitor Center at the North Cape has a lot of exhibits with a ton of information. There's even one about a battle that took place in 1943 during the occupation of Norway. It was pretty intense. They actually had a battle here in the Arctic Sea in winter, like as in pitch black night, as all day, 24 hours a day. That's intense. And there's a great exhibit about that as well. Other things that the Visitor Center has are a cinema where they show a 30-minute movie about the North Cape throughout the seasons. So you can also see like the northern lights in winter, midnight sun in summer. They also have a restaurant and bar. There's even a chapel here, so I think maybe you could get married. It's kind of funny to think about. But I think right now we're gonna head outside to check out the Cape.
The main attraction.
Yes, the main attraction. Let's go. We are officially outside exploring the North Cape. Oh, it looks like fog is coming in. There's like a cloud over there.
Should we be worried?
I mean, not us personally. The fog won't hurt us.
Well, let's go check out the main attraction.
Yeah, let's check out the main attraction before it's covered by fog. Apparently, bad weather is very common on the North Cape. Fog, even in peak summer, is not unheard of. We are not in peak summer, but for the record,
We're in peak spring.
expect bad weather on your trip. And if you are granted a nice day, just be thankful for it. Behind us is the Barents Sea. There's nothing.
Nothing out there.
Nothing out there. Svalbard is out there. And the North Pole is out there. And that's about it. Pretty cool.
After enjoying the views, we headed back inside to warm up.
Well, one exciting thing about coming to the North Cape or NORDKAPP is that they have a post here. You can buy postcards in the gift shop, and they also sell stamps. That's exactly what we did. Filled it out, and now I'm gonna mail from 71 degrees north. That's pretty cool. There it goes.
It's all up to chance now.
Yes, I have high hopes. And now let's get some food.
The cafe has several food options. They have some pastries and self-serve Norwegian waffles, which sound really good, and maybe we'll go back for one of those. And the thing that we got, hot dogs or grillpølse. They literally grill the bun. Can you see this texture?
That looks nice.
Here? And then we topped it with ketchup, mustard, and crunchy onions.
That sounds good.
Norwegians love their hot dogs, and I don't blame them because the hot dogs here are so good. There's just something about European hot dogs that's just different and also very good. If you have the chance to get a hot dog in Europe, do it. They are good.
We're back at the cafe, and we got a little bit of dessert this time. A fresh-made Norwegian waffle, and something special about Norwegian waffles is that they're always heart-shaped, which is just so wonderful. And we've topped it with strawberry jam. Other common toppings are having it with brunost and jam, like the brown cheese and jam is a very common topping. Also sugar and butter. Oh my gosh, that is so good. Nothing like a buttery strawberry waffle for dessert.
Our main goal at NORDKAPP was to stay up and watch the sunset. We visited in summer during the time of the midnight sun when the sun never sets, and we wanted to see it for ourselves. We claimed a spot with a great view and set up our tripod to take some photos. It was a real conversation starter, and a lot of people stopped to talk. We were outside for several hours and had a lot of fun taking photos and enjoying this bucket list experience. The last photo might be our all-time favorite.
It's midnight at the North Cape.
And the sun's still out.
Sun's still out, sun's never setting. We're staying for the sunset and then the sunrise, which happens like immediately after.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy how bright it is right now.
And how many people there are. Oh man, this is so cool. This has been a bucket list of mine, so I'm so glad we're here. Well, thanks for sticking around with us as we explore the North Cape. Good morning, friends. We are leaving Alta this morning. We wish we had more time to explore, but we had a really great time exploring the Nordkapp instead.
Oh yeah.
We got back from the Nordkapp at 5 a.m. this morning. Had a very brief 3-hour sleep. And now we are heading to Tromsø. We've got about a 6-hour drive. So let's get on the road.
Look ahead, the sea is calm, and I know we've been through a lot, but just wait. Wait for better days to come and carry us like wind in our sails.
The drive from Alta to Tromsø is quite a long one. It's about 6 hours, so we've been taking a lot of breaks, taking the scenery. Right now we're driving through the Lyngen Alps, which just has stunning snow-covered peaks and beautiful blue water of the fjord. Earlier today we even saw some dolphins, which is crazy because we're in the Arctic. The only thing we would change is to have more pull-offs to enjoy the scenery even more.
I can smell the shore, it's right in front of us if we just hold on tight. This vision that I saw is...
Well, it's Sunday, and that means that a lot of food places are closed today.
Yeah, including grocery stores.
Yes, grocery stores are closed, restaurants seem to be mostly closed. We stopped about an hour outside Tromsø and went to a little kiosk or kiosk and got ourselves some ostepølse.
Yeah, which is hot dogs filled with cheese and wrapped in bacon.
They were delicious. And now we are continuing on to Tromsø. We are super close, it's about an hour away.
We are dreamers of the shore.
Well, we finally made it to Tromsø, and parking is quite the predicament.
Yeah.
There's some street parking, but it's very limited, and it's also timed, so it's limited time-wise, but it's also limited capacity-wise.
Or by having a permit.
Or by having a permit, yes. The hotel we're staying at doesn't have parking, so we had to find it on our own. We've come to the Tromsø parkering, which is kind of ridiculous. It's like parking in a cave. It's kind of cool. Plenty of spots available, but it was so confusing getting here. And now we have to walk in the rain to get to our hotel. But we are so ready to check in and start exploring Tromsø. The city of Tromsø officially dates back to 1794 when it had a population of around 80. But people have inhabited the area since the end of the last ice age, so there is a lot of history you can learn about. Located at 69 degrees north, Tromsø is known as the capital of northern Norway. Around 42,000 people call Tromsø home, making it the northernmost city in the world with a population greater than 20,000. Tromsø is filled with beautiful architecture, and the Old Town Center contains the highest number of old wood houses in northern Norway, with the oldest house dating back to 1789.
We are dreamers of the shore when we can't read the sky. We just sail with the wind that we've got, and when we're drowning in doubt.
We made it to Kirkeplassen in the middle of Tromsø. Behind me is the Domkirke, which is the Tromsø Cathedral, and it was built in 1861. This whole park area was renovated in 2017. It previously used to be a church cemetery, changed into a park a while ago, and then renovated in 2017 to be very beautiful. Domkirke is right in the middle of the old town of Tromsø, and it sits on Storgata, which is an awesome pedestrian zone, and it has some really great stores. I wish we could go into them, but since it is Sunday evening, they are all closed. So don't be like us and explore Tromsø not on a Sunday. Most shops and buildings were closed during our visit, but Tromsø Cathedral was open, so we stopped inside to check out the traditional Nordic architecture. The first church in Tromsø was built in 1252, and although it's long gone, it very likely stood where Tromsø Cathedral now stands. The building dates back to 1861, and it's the only wooden cathedral in all of Norway. If it's open, it's definitely worth a quick stop to check it out.
It's pretty cool in here.
Where do you think you're taking me?
Up a tall hill to a viewpoint over Tromsø.
Well, let's go.
Hopefully we find it.
It's quite a steep hill.
Yeah, well, it didn't start that way.
It never does.
7 years now on this boat, and we all know where we belong. Just wait.
What'd you find?
A pretty view. It overlooks the city of Tromsø. It's pretty nice. And best of all, it was free.
Hold on tight. I can smell the shore. It's right in front of us if we just hold.
Well, this turned out to be a great viewpoint.
Yeah, it was pretty fantastic. Jeremy found it on Google Maps, so it's pretty easy to find. It is quite a hill to walk up.
Yeah, the last few blocks are quite steep.
Very steep, steeper than a 45, I'd say.
Yeah.
But it's worth it, and you've got plenty of space to relax and spread out, enjoy the view. I imagine this would be quite a nice spot for a picnic.
Yeah.
And they have plenty of benches that you can sit on.
It's actually not that busy right now. I don't know if that's because of the time or people just don't know about it, but
I'm sure it's because of the rain.
yeah, maybe.
It's super wet right now. The view is awesome, and it was free. You probably can't sit and enjoy sunset. I think the sun is not setting directly behind us, so this wouldn't necessarily be the place to come for that. But otherwise, this is a gorgeous view. Well, our time in northern Norway is coming to a close. We catch a plane tomorrow for an exciting new adventure. So stick around for that, and we'll see you in the next one. Yeah, the whales are being a little sus right now.
Well, we just finished our... Well, we just like...
We had a very brief time in Andenes. Well, we took a scenic trip. Excuse me.
See how hard it is?
No.
What are you up to?
We are near Heia, Norge in northern Norway. Heia, Norge.
I mean, Bangkok is only 8,200 kilometers away.
You want to drive there?
Yeah. Are you buying all those things?
All the things. Well, what did we do? We're on top of a mountain.
Yeah, we're at the top of Kvænangsfjellet.
Kvænangsfjellet.
Kvænangsfjellet. Kvænangsfjellet. We're at the Kvænangsfjellet.
At
400.
oh, so many birds! And the captain calls it his mother-in-law.
that was a 3-time zoom, by the way.
Oh gosh. It's a video.
Is this a video? It wasn't filming.
I knew it. We made it to the North Cape, the northernmost.
You want to see what the North Cape is yet or not yet?
Oh yes. Also.
Traveling to the North Cape is the tradition of having, Okay, I'm just gonna say this right now.
What?
I think this might be a cult.
No.
These chairs are sus, though. I'm filming you.
We
You're
are
on film.
Thank you. Oh, that building is architecturally very interesting. Behind us is the North Atlantic Sea?
I don't know. We should have checked a map. I wear my sunglasses at night.
Gosh. How long have you been waiting to say that?
A long time.
Yeah. That didn't even occur to me. You're funny. Good morning, friends. We are heading... Oh, yeah. Well, it's Sunday, and that kind of throws a wrench in our... Sorry. And we would recommend, if you're doing a road trip in Norway, have a good audiobook because distances are long. And we've come to the Tromsø Park. Well, we made it to Kirkeplassen. It actually is a thing.